noise, throbbing noise. And it just wasn't the volume. It was like I was put in a broom closet with two gigantic speakers placed next to my head with a bass full up. I mean, sound waves like pulsated through my body in endless waves. And that's what I was met whenever I showed up at Thomas Jefferson Middle School for my first day as a teacher there. 1,000 pubescent voices, and each one trying to be louder than the next. And out of the corner of my eye, I see two boys running straight at me, breakneck speed. Right before the collision, I brace for it, and they just part and just brush right by me. Then a group of kids are walking right across to me, just looking at me. And one of them says, "Who are you?" Like I shouldn't be there. And I say, being upbeat, I say, "I'm the new sixth grade social studies teacher. Great to be here." And they just look at me, like with this eerie satisfaction, like wolves being handed a baby lamb. I was fresh meat. I looked around the gym, and I thought to myself, "My God, Fred, what have you done?" 2 weeks earlier, I just received a lateral promotion in a consulting job for one of the largest military contracting firms in the United States. I was a retired colonel, 29 years of service. I could do this job in my sleep. It was a cush deal. Things were looking up. And then, I'm reading in the paper that JCPS, Jefferson County Public Schools, were short 150 teachers. I mean, man, this was August. To me, that's like a state emergency. Every child has the right to an education. And so I did what every responsible, mature adult does these days. I went on Facebook and I made a post. I said, this is crazy. I wish that I could be somehow get, a teaching certificate, through a veteran program or something like that. I've always wanted to be a teacher, made that bold statement and I posted that. Totally forgot about it, but I come back a couple hours later and a buddy of mine had shared a link to the Kentucky Department of Education where you could get your veterans could get their teacher certification because of their time in service and their education if they have a bachelor's degree. I didn't believe it. I went, "Oh my God," I applied and that day, they said, "Yeah, you can get a certification, bring your transcripts." And I, took off work and I drove to Frankfort. That day I had a teacher certification, teach social studies in the Commonwealth in Kentucky, one day. And so I said, wow, so I go online and I apply to schools. Oh, they're not going to want to take a veteran. No, boom, two schools, said they wanted to interview. I go in, I interview, and one of them, Thomas Jefferson Middle School, the Patriots, offer me a job. And so 2 days later, I quit my job as a consultant. 2 days later, I'm in this gymnasium with a bunch of very, very loud 11, 12, and 13-year-olds. And so we're waiting for the bell to ring so we can escort them up to the class and, get them into class. And so do that. I feel like I'm going to, march them up there, left, right. I don't do that. But so we get them up there and I open the door and it's like shoppers at a Walmart on Black Friday. I mean, they just rush in and everybody's trying to get to their seat, their seat. I did not think to make a seating chart, rookie mistake. I would pay for that later. So I go in and say, this is crazy. And it's almost like a firefight. Things slow down. I'm seeing them feeling this vulnerability. Then all of a sudden my training kicks in and, nobody knows how to manage chaos better than a soldier. So I start, telling kids to get in seats and, I'm using my size and my presence to get them there. And finally it quiets down and, but in the back, I see this kid that had taken Cheetos hot fries, and stuck them in his nose, and he's looking at me, like he's a bull, like he's going to charge. I'm saying, Cheetos hot fries, who does that? But we get set, and then so we tell stories. Everything calms down, everything's good. But this scene would play out, again over the next weeks and then months, as I learned my job and how to be a teacher. But it never really got to the point, where I always had some challenges. And I'm not going to say that teaching school is like combat, but I will tell you that it's harder than combat. You know, you have this no-fail mission, and you have these, hundreds of, 100 of young souls that you're entrusted with their physical safety and also their emotional safety and sometimes their spiritual safety. And it's really, really hard. And it's very challenging. And I'll just be honest with you, some days I just want to quit. I won't, but some days I just want to quit. I was having, then there's, I was having a particularly hard day, though. And, this happened. It had gotten to the point I couldn't, the class was out of control. It had become unteachable. I mean, kids were putting Cheetos, hot fries everywhere, And I just finally said, oh, man, I can't do it. I crossed my arms. I'm sitting on a chair, empty seat. And all of a sudden, a little girl, raises her hand. I acknowledge her. And she says, Miss Colonel Johnson, can I give you a hug? I smiled, nodded. She got up and she did just that. It's things like that that make it all worthwhile. Thank you.